What does it all mean to struggle, survive, love, hate? It means to live by finding meaning and purpose against all odds, from ignorance, abuse, manipulation, and being lost, to forgiveness, love, enlightenment, and unity with being. Tonight's story. I'm you, and this is my story. A small baby, helpless infant, a special boy, made completely of light, manifested in mortal flesh, with an unknown destiny. Born in a crazy world of masked figures, nothing is as the normal seems. His only potential they knew and wanted to keep for their own wicked, selfish use. Born with a crime, an unforgivable crime. He was different. He wasn't like them. He was attracted to a different sex, different than the rest. With such a crime, he had to be punished by everyone, starting his own family. To a traumatic state caused him to lose the eye and the feminine half of his soul. Blind to the most obvious. His blindness came from his naivety from his goodness from his strong heart and ancient spirit. Lost in the world, his biggest mistake was that he thought differently. He thought everyone thought like him. It was so easy. They could have just told him the truth about themselves and the truth about himself. But the truth is never that easy. Their calculation concluded to hide it his best, and instead convert him to be like them. He's beautiful, smart, and charismatic. He has a special influence in people, and in that lies his secret, in his soul, magnified by his looks, intellect, and personality. Images of memories of them ganging up on him so cowardly and dishonorably haunts him. Plotted in the dark behind closed doors to end him. Through manipulation, restriction, distortion, theft, abuse, brainwash, blocking opportunities and dream destruction they carried out. They conspired. Leave him lost in his ignorance. Don't help him. Don't teach him. Then he'll be better than us. He will live. But the forces of the universe had other plans. Little did they know is that his blindness was protecting him from seeing an overwhelming truth that he could not handle at that time until he grows more strong. Being his great self, he thinks he's impressing them, but he's only dooming himself. By filling up the gauge of their wrathful insecurity and animalistic lust. They looked at him, but they didn't see the human, the angelic soul, the loyal warrior spirit. The losers only saw a threat or a sex flesh to drool over, and in failure, their envy saw an enemy to break. Each thought, if you make me feel smaller than you, or you don't give me what I want, I will put all my pain on you, and you will not get anything or anywhere in life, and no door will be open, except for the hate in our eyes emanating from our hearts. Too weak to control their bad feelings and sexual desires, making punishing emotional decisions from their genitals, transferring their pain onto him. It became a sickness, an unhealthy fixation. This non-contact rape, giving one of two options. Either they F him figuratively or F him literally. Either way, he's effed. They never considered good treatment or at least seduction, only to get him by force against his will, by scheming to hurt him, to break him, to devour him with their genitals. To own him is to take his power. Their biggest fear and envy is that he would have sex. But why did they act like that with him? We see them every day and they look like very good people. His tragedy was caused by his enigmatic, mystical, influential energy and how sexual orientations of both genders reacted to it. They feel it. It triggers all these thoughts in them, triggering all these emotions in them that can become unbearable. It can reach a point where his mere existence becomes painful to them. We're all part man, part woman, operating between the masculine and feminine. The man in them hated him for his intimidating presence, classic envy. The woman in them loved him for the charm of the perfect husband. The type of men intimidated by him close doors and leave. The other type of men gets bitter, refusing to understand he's not built for their sexuality. He's too mighty for this type of woman's love over the aura of the Savior, envied by the other type of women, unless broken, to be used as a submissive provider. It takes the masculine initiative and the feminine cunning to engage him, capabilities mostly integrated genders have. They can operate simultaneously between the two. In their burn, he's denied the right to be attracted to this sex or that type. Fear. Afraid that he would criticize, judge, shame, chastise, or that he would replace them, take what's theirs, or that they would lose him. Rejection. They felt rejected by him. This caused them pain. Pain they inflicted back by stabbing him back with rejection, through closing doors and attacking what matters most to him. But what they didn't know is that he knew the taste of rejection very well. Out in the streets, he's been getting rejected by those who did not know him and made incorrect assumptions too quick for them to feel him. Trapped in this loneliness of people's all or nothing possessive reaction, either they break him publicly in familiar places or reject him harshly in common places. They never thought to meet halfway and be friends. But how would he know? He thought he was ugly, invisible, and unwanted for most of his life. See, he faced the same disappointments since childhood crushed his heart. The difference is that he kept his pain to himself and didn't take it out on others. By shutting opportunities to live in his face, and this unbearable loneliness was not what he meant by he wants to be left alone. They think it's love. This is not love. It's a possessive sickness. They fool themselves that they love him. We don't hurt the ones we love. Do we harm our children? No, because we love them. Love is giving, sharing, protecting, helping, empathy and compassion, not punishing. What is love? Love of self and others? Love of life. Love is light, the answer. The cure for hate has to be its counterpart, love, right? Forgiveness is the key, and the antidote for evil is hope. To see more of the dark side of humanity than its light, to see the worst of people rather than their best. He became numb to the daily evils of the world. Seeing a good deed became strange. Wow, look, they're doing something good. Even though it should be the norm, then soon forgotten. When you've been hurt that much, all you see in people is evil. Their good side doesn't exist anymore. But goodness is still there, somewhere in the world within all of us, even these people. If they're bad with you, doesn't mean that they're bad with everyone, or that they're all bad. There's good in everyone. No one is completely wicked. Even if he didn't see it in his life, he still found it in stories and saw it on the television. Good people willing to make the ultimate sacrifice, including their lives, to help others. His good, strong spirit kept him loving, with the support of his beloved heroes from history and myth. Back still when men were men and women were women, he kept the faith. A big heart can clean itself and dilute all the poison inflicted without taking it personally, immune to insult, trespass and retaliation, open for love, unchanging original nature, or grow believing that succumbing to the harming darkness is the answer. Have the strength to remain true and never become hateful, like those who harmed him with such bitterness because he is different. He never became like his victimizers, whom were also victims of others at some point. But if every victim became a villain, the world will burn. We have to say no, enough is enough, and end the cycle. Torn between two hurts, he also lives with his regret of the good ones he hurt. No one is that innocent. Understandably, they're hurt and may believe that he will save them. In a way, he did heal them. By knowing what hurts them, they knew how to hurt him. They projected and emptied all their pain and suffering on him. They saw their true shadow and confronted it. He had the ability to take it and handle his and their wounds. Like that, they were healed. By knowing how to heal himself, he learned how to heal others. We can't control the world around us. We can only control our response to it. The love he didn't find in his life, he still found manifested in everything, grateful for the smallest things. Food found, shelter furnished, good purchase. Sunny day with some sparkling shade under a tree. He pushes and pushes, trying to get there, trying to survive. As he called the heavens for help and help never came, he realized he had to go through this for a reason. Trained by the universal forces, it was all his life's initiation to create the great warrior. Life trains us differently based on our purpose and destiny. It trains the future president different than the monk. In the wild, nature shows that the alpha is challenged, then followed. In his life, the alpha was just resisted. We need both in our lives, the good and bad, friends and enemy. They both give us motive to strive and improve. He could never become that strong without his enemies. Hate and vengeance can be turned into the best source of encouragement to win, if thought rightly, without holding on to the toxicity of unforgiveness. If you found the concept of loving your enemy to be beyond illogical, if you hate your enemy, you will never understand him. If you don't understand him, you can never forgive him. If you don't forgive him, you will forever be his prisoner and can't release yourself. He was too busy blaming himself for everything. And yes, we need to examine ourselves first, where most of the time it was them. Niceness can be a mask for pretentious goodness. They pretend to be good, to hide their selfishness, fit in, and get what they want. Let's put it to the test. Yes, there is great goodness in them, but only when they're not threatened by the person or they believe he's their lesser, feel bad for, or can get what they desire from. Feeling criticized or rejected fools our insecurity to the illusion of love. Then egotistically dare to demand all. People with the all or nothing mentality often get nothing. We need to learn to be objective and compromise. Being subjective and taking it personally is normal, but when blown up to this level of refusing to understand, added more to his tragedy of severe increasing loneliness. Even though it comes from goodness and strength, naivety is cute in trusted relationships, but very ugly in practice and real life. Good people are often naive, which makes them a delicious target. The misuse of power against people is evil, regardless of gender. Whatever is, or whoever is more common is the norm, and the minority often gets discriminated against. But also, when the tables turn on the old majority, the new minority soon gets a taste. Only through faith, the mighty heart always triumphs in the end and has the last 1,000 laughs. He still didn't find his place in the world, but at least he finally found himself. He now knows who he is, his influence, and learning how to use it to turn his potential into a reality dream while protecting himself from others. It's not over as long as he is still alive. All he ever wanted was to have the choice to live a normal life.